You know, people always ask, what are the key findings or what's the one takeaway? And in a survey that was as comprehensive as the one that we did, there wasn't any one takeaway, but the one thing that really stood out is that how Canadians are feeling about this issue really depends on whether or not they believe that there are radicalized individuals living among them in their communities. People who thought that there were radicalized individuals were also much more likely to think that homegrown terrorism was a serious threat as opposed to being overblown. They were more likely to think that the shootings on Parliament Hill in October were an act of terror instead of an act of mental illness. And they were also much more likely to view the Muslim community as a problem in the fight against radicalization as opposed to a partner. And overall, more Canadians do view the Muslim community as a partner in the fight against radicalization. But again, it really depends on whether or not you think that there are people at risk and who are of committing violent acts and who are driven by violent ideology. Living in your neighborhood or not has a lot to do with your entire mindset around this issue. You know, we really take pains to write surveys that are fair and that present both sides of the issues and that aren't leading. That's a real sort of standard for us, and we won't ever ask questions that are unfair. But at the same time, there's a difference between asking questions that are what I like to call pointy or thorny and asking questions in a fair way. And we felt it was important to ask some tough questions of Canadians to really get at the heart of what they're thinking and feeling about these issues. Without measuring sentiment, without getting a sense of where Canadians are, how can you start to have a conversation on these issues that is meaningful? Without talking to each other, without sharing, how can you know things? How can you understand things? How can you come away with better knowledge? How can we come away as a stronger society unless we talk to each other?